predictions for upsets in the first round of the 2021 Australian Open. First up, Shapovalov seed 11 versus Jannik Sinner, ranked number 36. Bookies have it right now at $1.66 for Shapovalov and $2.20 for Sinner. I actually think that Sinner can win this one. Shapovalov has lost his last 6 matches. He's a bit out of form at the moment. Doesn't have much momentum going for him. In his last couple matches, he looked like he was a bit out of rhythm, a little bit jumpy, which is fine when he's got momentum and he's up. But when you don't have momentum, it makes it hard to find rhythm when you're so jumpy, so flary with your shots. I think Jannik Sinner will actually like the shorter points. He's got good size on him. He's very young and very athletic. He actually has good weapons. His forehand's a big weapon. His serve's a weapon. I think he'll like this matchup against Shapovalov. He'll like the quicker points. He can definitely win this match. Next, we have Lee 2 from Australia versus Feliciano Lopez of Spain. Lee 2 is currently unranked, so he's come in as a wild card, mainly based on the fact that he won 45 out of his 47 UTR matches in Australia last year, which is like a 96% win rate against all the other top Aussie players in the country. He'll be playing Feliciano Lopez, who's ranked 63 and more accustomed to playing on clay. Doesn't really get his results on the hard courts. I think Lee 2 is in good form. He actually played his first ever international pro match last week against Pedro Sousa, and he lost that in a close 2 sets, 6-4, 7-6. So I think that's just more of a matter of getting a little bit clutcher for him. Lee 2 stays on top of the baseline and takes that ball early from start to end. I like that style of play. He's not going to sit back and try to grind out a professional top 100 Spanish player. My only worry is that Lee 2 does not have experience going beyond 3 sets. So we'll need to see how he holds up, if he can keep that pressure and that speed up over the length of a Grand Slam match. Next, we have Marin Cilic, who's ranked 43 right now, against Grigor Dimitrov, who's the 18th seed for the Australian Open. I think this is a nightmare first round for Dimitrov. Cilic actually has a 4-2 record against him, and the last match they played in 2019, it was on clay, and it took Dimitrov 5 sets to get the win against Cilic. We know Cilic is better on the hard court. He's a big guy, not built to move on clay, but on hard court, he moves around well enough. He plays big. He likes flattening out the ball, hitting through it a bit more, playing a little flatter, a little bit faster. I think that's where Dimitrov struggles. Dimitrov would rather be a little bit more creative and use the angles, but I think the speed of the Australian Open makes it hard for him, and that's why he hasn't always had the best results at the Australian Open or at hardcourt tournaments. So I definitely think Marin Cilic at $2.50, likely I think to win this one against Dimitrov, who's at $1.53. Finally, weird one, we have Emil Ruusuvuori ranked 86 against Gael Monfils, who's the 10th seed for the tournament. But Emil Ruusuvuori is actually the favourite at $1.66, and Gael Monfils is at $2.20. I think that's because Monfils has lost his last 6 matches from the end of 2020 to the start of this year. I actually think Monfils will win this one because it's a bit of a misrepresentation to go off his last 6 losses compared to Emil Ruusuvuori, who's stringing wins together and actually, has won a fair decent amount of matches for the past year. The difference is that Monfils has been losing to top 30, top 40 players, whereas Ruusuvuori is getting his wins against players outside the top 100, which is a totally different ballgame. I think that's where the bookies have it wrong. I think Monfils will come through and he'll be pretty comfortable against someone who's ranked so far out. Emil Ruusuvuori is still young, athletic, but Gael Monfils has shown us that he can be just as athletic, and when he needs to, he knows how to grind and make the court feel very small for his opponent as well. So I think Monfils will have this match. I don't see how Ruusuvuori has anything in his record that shows he can beat anyone in the top 50, let alone Monfils, who's a top 20 player.